When I'm speaking about individualistic on the terms of economics, yes, I would say conservatives are more individualistic, as in we're not socialists, we're not wanting to redistribute wealth. Yes. But
can you define socialism for me?
when I'm speaking about socialism, I'm talking about the redistribution of wealth and like promoting the welfare system.
Okay, so I mean, socialism is just a mode of production, so it just has to do with workers owning the means of production. The only reason I'm pointing this out is because I feel like MAGA, Republicans, conservatives as a whole, have really misconstrued socialism, communism, etc. But one last question for you. Here, you said that promoting the LGBT community is anti-American. How so?
Because, for instance, conservatives and people on the right have more.
Hey, nice to meet you too. You've been excited to come up here.
This one's interesting. So first, I also wanted to know why you think Democrats are better at supporting family values than conservatives.
Of course, great question. So first of all, we look at this from an economic perspective.
Sure.
I'd say caring for low and middle class, promoting social benefits. A good example would be the child tax credit. Kamala Harris wants to raise it to $6,000 for every
You're gonna vote me out soon. I'm gonna make my point, and then you're gonna vote me out, and I'm gonna go. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I think what's really interesting, and I wanted you to bring it up, but I'm just gonna bring it up again. You were talking about when to start a family. I think that's really interesting. I think the choice to start a family is when you have sex. Personally, and someone will probably be more informational than me about this, but I think that having sex is when you take that risk, if you want to call it that, take that risk of starting a family. It's your responsibility to become a parent, become a father or mother. And I think I felt there's the IVF, what you said, that helps. Does that help with abortion? Is that correct?
No, IVF is in virtue of fertilization, right? This allows, certain partners who wouldn't be able to conceive naturally to still have a child. And I would like to respond to your claim there about this idea that engaging in sex is really key to starting a family. It's a great reason why I think conservatives don't actually care about family values. We know that our youth will continuously engage in intercourse. We know that we will see people that do this for fun outside of the context of wanting to start a family. I'd say by pushing the traditional value that sex leads to a kid and you're obligated to that, you have to deal with consequence, right? It's antithetical to caring about family values because when you do that, you force unwanted children into unready households.
And more.
Howdy.
So the claim that you're saying about conservatives not caring about family values, let's kind of backtrack a little bit because Donald Trump himself, I think he's kind of a new wave of republicanism, and a lot of people kind of seem to forget that. So conservatives, yes, the old Republican Party, they did see that the old-fashioned traditional values maybe were not ideal for certain family dynamic situations that you're claiming, gay, lesbian, whatever. But I think the Republican Party has definitely changed its viewpoint and its value system quite a little bit. And now with laws and legislations, I can pretty much guarantee you that almost every Republican in this room would not be opposed to LGBT rights and people marrying people of the same sex. So that's one claim. And then if we want to talk about family values, the Democrats, they tend to hypersexualize children a lot in Hollywood. I work in the entertainment industry and I constantly see many investors constantly pushing for these rhetorics and there's nothing to be said about it. And unfortunately, I'm exposing myself a little bit by just saying this because it's very controversial for me to work in an industry that's constantly fighting for children to consistently be human trafficked in Hollywood. I have so many friends that have tried to be sexualized in this propaganda, and it's really saddening. I can agree because I used to be a liberal myself, so I can side with you on certain things, but my mother who grew up in a very democratic vision, she herself also views that abortion is very sinful and it's unfortunate. I can agree with you on the fact that people should have a right to their own body, and we're not saying that they shouldn't. That's why, hence, Donald Trump did state many times that the state should be involved with those legislations and not himself. In situations such as people who are raped and all of those nuances, it's yes, go ahead.
So just a quick question about abortion. Do you agree with giving the state the ability to legislate on that?
Well, we give the states legislation on many things.
So do you think that abortion is murder?
I think it is because.
So do you think that we should leave murder up to the states?
Well, I think leaving the murder cases up to Democrats is a little appalling. If you look at the crime rates that are happening with all these children being killed and murdered constantly, Catholics believe that when you kill a child, that's basically the ultimate mortal sin. And there are many sins that we can discuss. Donald Trump having affairs, yes. Nobody's denying all these cases, but at the end of the day, the biggest mortal sin that we talk about in the Bible is killing another human. So, a human who has a heartbeat in the womb, yes, I'm not opposed to people having the right to leave their body, but I think at the end of the day, if you were to ask yourself if God was real, you better hope and wish that He isn't, because you go to heaven and He asks you why you killed all those humans. It's compared to genocide with Hitler.
Here's my thought on that. So first of all, I don't want to tell you that your religion is false. That is not my goal. In fact, that's not what I'm going to do. I want to take a different approach, right? Okay. So I say that Christianity is inherently faith-based, right? It's something that you can't justify outside of your own faith. It's something that has a lot of philosophical issues, right? It's something that exists in a realm apart from how we would conventionally justify policy that we want to pass. Say when we're justifying economic policy, we evaluate its outcomes. We look at what it costs the people, and we use that information, that empirical evidence, to justify if it's good or bad. But when you legislate on the basis of your faith, it doesn't allow you that room because you're just kind of using your speculatory beliefs to justify the legislation.
Correct.
And I'd say one last thing here. Right? During antebellum era slavery here from the U.S., we saw Christian nationalists using Leviticus 25, 44 through 46 of the Bible to justify the enslavement of black people at the time. Taking away their rights. So my question to you would be, what is the logical difference between Christians 200 years ago using the Bible to justify the enslavement of black people and a Christian today using the Bible to take away their rights? I don't think we could think of a logical distinction there, and that's why I'd say it's best to be practiced in the confines of your own home and your own life.
So then why did Gavin Newsom ban people from practicing and praying in their own home? During the Biden administration, Gavin Newsom locked everyone down, fined them $900 just for practicing their religion. There are many people practicing in a church locally, and they were fined $900. Gavin Newsom prioritized gyms, facilities, recreational centers. Catholic nuns were describing their distress over this. So what happened to freedom of speech? What happened to because clearly you guys are constantly promoting that, right? But it's an approach to our society.
Okay, can you define communism for me real quick?
Communism is someone who constantly dictates what's happening, and they average out everyone for the minority, for the majority. Everyone has to have the same houses. I mean, you look at Cuba, everybody has to have the same houses. If you go to a Latin American country, they are not pro-abortion. They are not.
Okay, so real quick, that's not what communism is. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society, right? And once again, right, this rhetoric from the right, just kind of calling anything that they don't like communism, just kind of reminds me of the Red Scare.
Well, it's the same way with Democrats. When you like something, you tend to attack the right because you hate everything they go for. The LGBTQ communities, they are constantly promoting propaganda where they
clarify this. Listen, if I don't like
Democrats are constantly pushing for openness and acceptance with the LGBTQ community and many organizations. And then guess what? As soon as you go against the rhetoric, as soon as you believe in God, all these LGBT communities are. Yes. Okay.
Thank you for the conversation. Welcome back.
Actually looking to agree with the code myself.
Of course.
A lot of different things, different topics that on this exact question, but one thing I do want to state from the beginning is this debate is Democrats versus Republicans, not Trump versus whoever they have in office, Kamala or whatever. So I really want to focus on Republican policies that have been pushed throughout history to now, and not separate things to. So I want to go on to portion was talked about a lot when it comes to family values.
Yeah.
I really don't think if a party is pushing for adoption to raise a child versus murder, that's not shying away from family values. It's not against family values. Because if that was really true, how come in pretty much every single state to date, if somebody is to turn for carrying a child and being murdered, it's a double murder. It's not a single murder, it's a double murder. So if the judicial system said it that way, shouldn't abortion be looked at the same way, or is it based on the person deciding, oh yeah, I can kill somebody or not?
Yeah, I can explain it to you. So first of all, I would like to tell you why I do this. That's because I don't value, right, a unicellular life form that doesn't have the ability to display like first-person subjective experiences. I don't value that has that ability. That comes at about 20 through 24 weeks. And now that we've been talking about, you do ask a great question, right? How can I say that abortion isn't murder, then turn around and support legislation that would, allow someone that kills a mother that is pregnant to be charged with murder? I can tell you through an analogy. Let's say you have a kid, what kind of car do you drive? You drive a Malibu, okay? So if you go up to your Malibu, like, you're done break the windshield, did you do anything wrong? No, it's your car, it's your property, you can make that decision.
It depends on what you look at.
Well, I mean, well, think about it this way. If you go up to your car and you consent to breaking your car's windshield, you didn't do anything wrong. You have a right to do that. But if someone else just walking down the street goes up and breaks your car's windshield without their consent, if they do something wrong.
I mean, if you, okay, for example, I go out on the street right now.
Wait, do you mind just answering the question so I can explain this analogy to you? So if someone else walking up the street breaks your car's windshield without your consent, they do something.
I agree, yeah.
And that's the same way I think about abortion. I would define murder as the unjustified termination of a human being's life. I think the mother would do it, actually you have the right to, as this is presiding away from your uterus, but if that's a non-consenting third party walks up and unalives her and the fetus in the room without her consent, that is unjustified.
Alright, so I think your first claim, you were saying that because Donald Trump has